Okay, we're ready to begin. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's nice to see everybody that could make it here today, this afternoon. I'd like to welcome Diane, who's the newest member of the committee. And because we have a new member, I think it would be helpful if we just go around and introduce ourselves. So I will introduce myself as Crystal Morrissey, the chair, and I work with Canadian Hearing Services. So I have an interest in individuals who are deaf or have hearing loss. And we'll just kind of go around. I will say your name so I can see, sort of go around the grid here. So next, Sharon, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Sharon Coupland. I work with Community Living Trent Highlands. The position I've been in there for about the last 4 years is Manager of Human Resources. Prior to that, I was a manager of adult services and worked within our community homes. I've been a member of the committee for, I don't know how many years now, but a good at least 6 years, I think. And it's always an interesting and informative process. So welcome, Diane.
Thanks, Sharon. We'll go next to Ken, please.
Hi, Ken Van den Udelaar. I was with the radio station, but currently just a community member.
Thanks, Ken. Councillor Elmsley.
Diane actually knows me pretty well. I am the councillor for Ward 3, which includes Fenelon Falls, where Diane lives. It's nice to have her on the committee. I'm the council representative on this committee. So as such, it is a committee of council, and I liaise between the committee and council, or actually I do whatever Barb tells me to do.
Perfect, thank you. And Diane, you're next. So if you want to introduce yourself to the group, that would be lovely.
I'm Diane. I have lived in Fenelon Falls for about 13 years now. I'm here partly because my son has intellectual disabilities, and so that's been quite a journey for us. And so I'm involved in, all the kinds of ways that you need to support somebody like that. In fact, when the music started, I was thinking maybe I'd gone to the wrong Zoom, because on Saturdays we do a Zoom dance class. But anyway, here we are. That's all I'll tell you for now. And I'm really happy to be here. Hope I can contribute.
Thank you so much, and welcome again. Barb, I think you two have met, but I don't want to miss you, so you can introduce yourself as well.
Hi, Diane. Yes, we met on a couple of different occasions. One was at the Fenelon Falls Age-Friendly group, and once during the interview process. I welcome you to the Accessibility Advisory Committee for Kawartha Lakes, and look forward to working with you. And if there are any questions that you might have, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll try and answer them for you, or look for the answers. Let's put it that way. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb. Next we have Andre.
Yes, my name's Andre Obumsawin. I've lived here now I'm going on my 3rd year living in Kawartha Lakes. I came from Oshawa area. I worked in Oshawa as a building inspector for 26 years or so. And then I'm really enjoying being involved with this AAC. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. And next, Gigi.
Hi, I'm Gigi. I'm a retired manager from the Toronto Transit Commission. I taught AODA for about 10 years and worked in the Human Rights Unit for 4. This is my 2nd year on the committee, and I've been in Lindsay almost 6 years now.
Thank you. And last but not least, Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Peters, and I live in Omimi, and I am the mother of a daughter, Catherine, who has multiple exceptionalities. And I've been on the committee now for, I think, 10 years or thereabouts, and I look forward to working with you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now that is everybody I see on the screen. So I think I've got everybody. If I did miss you, just unmute yourself and let me know. Otherwise, we'll move ahead with our agenda. I think I've got everybody. So first we have the adoption of the agenda. So that was sent out by Kathy. If anybody, does anybody, sorry, have anything they'd like to add to today's agenda? No, so seeing no hands, can we have somebody adopt today's agenda, please?
I can.
Andre, thank you. A seconder? Sharon, thank you. And all in favor? Excellent, thank you. Second is any declarations of pecuniary interest? And seeing none, we'll move on to 2.3, which is the adoption of the minutes from last meeting. So if you were at the last meeting and you've had a chance to go over them, does anyone have any errors or admissions to those minutes? And seeing none, if we could have someone adopt those minutes. Oh, I saw a lot of hands. I saw Councillor Elmsley, and then Gigi, and then all in favor. Wonderful. Okay. So moving through, we don't have any deputations or presentations. We don't have any correspondence, so I think we'll go move right along to our accessibility officer update. So that's Barb.
Thanks, Crystal. Well, I'll begin with the fact that, well, just today, and I'm excited about this, I spoke to you last meeting about having to go through an audit process for the province and answering a series of questions. The audit was submitted prior to December the 16th, and we received a reply today thanking us for helping to make Ontario accessible, and that no further information will be requested. So they were happy with what was submitted to them, and I'm very pleased to report that. So that's the first piece of business. And I do believe I shared those questions, did I not, with everyone? I do believe I circulated that. The second thing that I would report is that I have completed 2 reports. One report associated with your work plan and of course your achievements in 2020. And that report will go to Council on March the 9th for adoption. Secondly, there was a report that I had to provide to Council with regards to the Municipal Accessibility Master Plan. And that report is also going to Council on March the 9th. And I will be providing a presentation to Council with regards to, both the work of the AAC and also the progress report towards the master plan. So that is March the 9th, and if anybody's interested, they may wish to watch Council that day, or Committee of Whole, it is then to go on to Council. The other piece was in association, actually I've had a request from a manager with the City of Kawartha Lakes from Communications, Marketing and Advertising. And I did circulate that to the majority of the members. I'm not sure if I circulated it to Diane, but I can certainly do that. The request was to cover all or part of an expense associated with a guide for creating publications. And I did share that also. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the guide, but I am seeking approval for all or some budget money associated with the $400 expenditure. And so I'd like conversation around that as well as a recommendation.
Elizabeth?
I would like to move that our committee provide the $400 for this publication.
And would anybody like to second that motion? Andre? Okay, okay, so it sounds like we're pretty easy today, Barb. There is no discussion. I think we've all, oh, maybe Diane has a comment, sorry.
I did try to get myself up to speed on some of the documents that were included with the minutes and everything. And I'm pretty sure that there were like the work plan for 2020 and the work plan for 2021. I don't think I found that. Was it included with anything, or is there some way that you could send that to me, Barb?
I certainly can, Diane. I apologize for that. I will certainly circulate that information to you, and you can have a look to you know, look at both charts. And like I said, they will be included with the committee of whole, you know, as far as approval for council. So yes, most definitely I will circulate that to your attention.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so then back to the guide itself. Sounds like we've got approval, Crystal, to go ahead.
Yeah, so we've got Elizabeth's motion and Andre has seconded it. So if everybody is happy with that, we'll go for all in favor. Yes, seeing everybody, we will go ahead with that then. Thank you.
Okay. And going back to the report on the master plan, I will express that I have been working with planning. So this is with regards to the public spaces working group. So I can expand on that once we get to that particular section, if that's okay with Andre, just to provide a little bit of information on that. Otherwise, I think that is my report for today, Crystal, and I thank you for the time. Thank you to the committee.
Thank you very much. So we'll go on, and I guess just, Diane, just so you know, we do have two working groups in the committee. So we have our public awareness group, and then we have public spaces. So we'll hear reports from both of them next. So first will be Elizabeth with public awareness.
Thank you, Crystal. Our biggest focus right now is the Accessibility Awards. We're accepting nominations in 6 categories up until March the 26th. So if anyone knows of an individual or an organization that is going above and beyond to break down the barriers, they can fill out an application, which is on the city website. Just look up Accessibility Awards and it'll come up. And we'll be presenting our awards on June the 1st in a virtual format. More information to follow. And I think we talked about our work plan, but that's already Barb discussed it. So I think that was the focus of what we were looking at this point. But encouraging anyone who may know of someone that would be worthy of one of our awards to please fill an application, or if you know someone who might know someone, you know, give them a little poke and say, hey, why not do this? And it's a great time to do it. And I think that's it for now. Crystal.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Elizabeth. And yeah, if you have any questions about that or need help finding the application, just let one of us know and we can direct you for that. The one thing I would just add is that the presentation that Barb had arranged for city staff on mental health and coping with stress during the pandemic, that just happened, I think that was a week and a half ago with Jack Veach from CMHA. And it was well attended. So we were invited to attend as well. I know I went to it and I think they had pretty good staff attendance. So that was a good public awareness piece as well. And I see Councillor Elmsley's got his hand up. Yeah.
I just had a question around the 2020 awards. Are they going to be combined with the 2021 or have we, are we doing something else?
The 2020 awards were basically postponed, and any nominations we did have, which were few, would be put on to the 2021 awards.
Perfect. And that was a good question. Is there any other questions with regard to public awareness? Oh, Barb.
Oh, sorry about that. I just wanted to add too, I did circulate that we have the media release is going out today. So once it's released, then I can link everybody to the release, just in case there's any questions. It provides a direct linkage to the nomination form online. And we'll hope that we can get some, many nominations in. I know that there's a lot of people and organizations out there that have provided a lot of assistance to people this year especially. Thank you.
Thanks, Barb. Any other comments before we move to public spaces? No. So I will pass it over to Andre to give us an update on Public Spaces Working Group.
Well, again, we've so far we had 3 submissions that we had to deal with. Well, actually, one of them I've been dealing with was prior to, it was in 2020. I'm trying to finish that one, but we worked on 2 of them. One of them that was quite different was a 48 townhouses. So then we had to try to figure out a way how to make things accessible when every townhouse has stairs to get in on both entrances. You know, everything is really physically not accessible. So we went to the, well, at the time, I was trying to figure out a way, and I thought maybe of making it more of an adaptable way of doing some of these townhouses. So I kind of looking at the drawings, I was able to figure out maybe the one spot that seems to be a little flatter, and hopefully that, you know, maybe the developer will probably get that into, you know, maybe could realize that maybe that's a way of doing that one. Adapting, meaning you can do, maybe adapt the grade or a little bit, and then you can make it a lot easier for somebody to come in and do a ramp system for one doorway, and then inside, obviously, making the doors bigger and things like maybe even having a chair lift, or like as in a stair glide lift to go upstairs. And actually, I think a very good idea is to go with a bungalow townhouses. And so, you know, the first floor would have a bedroom, master bedroom, and an ensuite that would probably be accessible. And maybe have another bathroom and bedroom upstairs or 2, whatever. So hopefully they're going to catch on to that. But the other one was that actually those were 2 projects were in Bobcaygeon. And the other one was it was more, I think they're doing a ramp system into a commercial. I think actually, this is why I wasn't too sure if it was, it's in a commercial building, but we sent that. So everything's going well. We are up to date, other than that one that I have to try to deal with Mark Leahy. And we're trying to, with the rest of the group, that we're with Gigi and Sonia, Ken, and Norm, that's not here today. We're trying to figure out a way to make things a lot easier so that all of us can all work on it. If there's any questions.
Does anybody? Oh, Barb.
Well, I just wanted to add, we had a great meeting of the Public Spaces Working Group about 2 weeks ago. And at that meeting, Sonia and Gigi both became involved in helping to set up an online Google way of us communicating our thoughts on the site plans. One of the biggest obstacles for comment from all of the members of the Public Spaces Working Group has been to find a location where we can safely store information on a document and then provide all that information back. So I think that we have developed a way, and that I encourage each member of the Public Spaces Working Group to participate and provide your comments. And I also appreciate the work that Andre has done to, I provided Andre with some statistics from Stats Canada and other areas, and he's taking those statistics and written a paragraph that introduces our developers and our planners at the City of Kawartha Lakes to information about the number of people that are residing within Kawartha Lakes that are aging, that have disabilities, and the need for us to start thinking about a strategy to build residential houses that are accessible or at least adaptable to changing times, such as aging in place, etc. So this I have written within the report that I'm presenting to Council. I've written your paragraph, Andre, that you've created, just for information, just to update that information with Council about the percentages and about the importance of what you're doing, and as far as a Public Spaces Working Group. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, and I certainly will share the report once Council has taken a look at it and accepted. So thank you.
Thanks, Barb. Diane.
I'm brand new here, so I really don't have a good idea of what you've talked about in the past and or where issues are discussed about, because I'm sure there are hundreds of issues on that front. So I don't want to be out of line here, but the thing that I've been concerned about, people around my town at least, and the fact that they can't even get outside if they have any kind of mobility issues because of snow on sidewalks. And I wondered if that was an issue that was being dealt with somewhere. And the other one that I'm wondering about is the new bridge, the bridge work that's going to be done in Fenelon Falls. Will there be a pedestrian walkway kept open to cross the river? Has that been included in that work? So I'm not sure where to put those questions. I don't expect you even to answer them right now, but is there a place where that kind of thing is already addressed?
Councillor Elmsley?
I have it as part of my update.
Perfect. There
Great.
you go. And maybe, I'm just wondering too, Barb, if it might be a good idea, if you could maybe send out a list for us, just so we know the members of both the Public Awareness and Public Spaces Working Group. I think there maybe have been some changes at the beginning of the new year. And then if you and Diane maybe have a conversation about if she wants to join one of the working groups as well, that would be helpful.
I certainly will do that, Crystal. And Diane, actually, I sort of made suggestion that she might want to join the Public Awareness Working Group, and she was quite open to that, yes. In fact, she thought she might want to join both, and I said, well, you might be busy.
Well, no. I just wasn't sure which way to go, but
Yeah.
I think I'll stick to one, that's for sure. So,
It's probably just
yeah,
as well.
go with
at
the
this
public
point.
awareness.
Yeah, okay. So,
Perfect.
so Diane, I've already placed Diane on my circulation list for the Public Awareness Working Group. So,
Okay, excellent.
and so that would mean that yourself, Elizabeth Peters, and Diane and Councillor Elmsley would be members of the Public Awareness Working Group. And the balance of the members actually sit on the Public Spaces Working Group. and which is quite large actually at this point. So,
Oh, Sharon's got a comment
Sharon's-
as well.
Sharon's on the Public Spaces Working Group though now, aren't you? I thought you
Oh,
made
she-
request.
I
You
don't-
want to go back to the, okay,
If I am, nobody told me.
okay. Because you said you thought
If
you
that's
might.
where you, but if that's where you need me to be, I can certainly make the switch, but I've been on public awareness all
Okay.
along, but I can make the switch if needed.
Well, you are welcome back on public awareness. I thought that you wanted to switch groups at one point.
Yeah.
So,
No, I said I was flexible depending on what was needed, so I just
Okay.
let you put me where you needed to, so.
okay, well, so.
We'll take you in public awareness.
Yeah, public awareness is where you're gonna be
To help
then.
balance out the numbers.
Yeah,
And because we like having you there.
Aw, thank you.
okay, so also Sharon is on public awareness, so, so we'll even things out a little bit. But I will send those two lists out to the whole committee so that they're aware of which member is on which working group. Thanks.
Perfect. Andre, did you have a comment? Yeah.
One thing I wanted to add, and I forgot, and we really need to try to figure out ways to, like obviously, when we start looking at development, we always tend to think about physical disabilities. But then there's a lot of the other ones, the visual, and then the hearing, and even the developmentally challenged type, people. And I know, and this is where I know I have a physical disability, so it's kind of easy for me to figure out that kind of stuff. But the other ways I'm trying to, and I know I'm hoping that with Ken being able to give us some good ideas on that. And again, it's kind of, it'll be hard, but all we can do is suggest at least that there's some of these easy things that can be done, especially in the bigger developments, your multi-story buildings, and that can be done maybe a little easier. So hopefully we can get to do that as well. It'll take time to educate people. And right now I know Sonia and Gigi, really, we were working on this new Google thing. I can't figure this out, so I'll have to talk to Sonia again a bit about it, because I couldn't figure it out. But we will, and it'll be better. It'll be good, because hopefully I will be able to get things so everybody can contribute, and it'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre, and thanks for those comments. I think that's important, an important reminder for everyone to everything that it encompasses when we're talking about accessibility in public spaces. Were there any other questions or comments for Andre or the group? No? All right, we'll move on to Councillor Elmsley's update, please.
Thank you, Crystal. My update includes a couple of different things, and I could put on my health unit hat and talk about vaccinations, or I can bring it up under new and other business, depending on where you'd like me to, if you'd like me to talk about it.
You can add it to your piece if
Okay.
you'd like. Yep.
Okay, and I have one other one, and maybe I'll let the group think about this while I do the rest of the update. The health unit has decided that until the pandemic is completed, we will not meet in person. All our meetings will be Zoom meetings. And I wondered if this group wanted to consider doing the same thing, if it was more convenient and safer and more appealable to meet virtually rather than meet in person. So I'll leave that for now, and people can think about it, and I'll come back to it at the end, or we can discuss it under new business, whichever you prefer, Madam Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll talk about, the first thing I'll talk about is downtown development. And of course, the Lindsay downtown is moving along at a very good clip. The decision to go ahead while the lockdown was in place, I think was a good decision because it will allow that construction to be completed prior to the summer months when it initially was envisioned that it would go forward. So it will be completed well ahead of the timeframes. And of course, it is difficult to get around between William Street and Victoria right now. And we discussed at the last meeting the moving of the buses over onto the adjacent street, and the fact that there wasn't a bus shelter there and they didn't envision building one for the, I think it's 6 or 7 weeks that the construction was going to go on. Having said that, we are embarking on a downtown redevelopment in Fenelon Falls, and it will be the streets, it will be Coburn Street from Bond Street to Water Street, and there's a separate project to work on the bridge, and I'll deal with that in a couple of minutes. The Fenelon downtown will be done in 2 phases. The first phase will begin March the 1st, and it will run until May 30th, which is the May long weekend. And then they will shut down and close everything up over the summer months, and they will come back Labor Day weekend and start again, and hopefully be finished by December. The reason for doing that is to allow the downtown of Fenelon to be open during the busy tourist season. It is envisioned that all of the stores will be open for the whole duration, and there will be access to those stores and during the construction. It's also envisioned that they will only close half the road at one time so that traffic can continue through, and so that there can be pedestrian access as well. And then they will move on. It is a full reconstruction of that road, including water pipes, sewer, gas, all of those things will be attended to, and there will be new sidewalks put in, new lampposts, new benches, new planters. It is a complete reconstruction of that street, just as the Kent Street reconstruction was. When it comes to the bridge, it again will be done in 2 parts. It will be done actually in 3 parts. The top part, which is the repaving, also has to address the expansion joints because they were covered over. So new expansion joints have to be put in. There was some work done on the bridge underneath to shore up a couple of places where engineers thought there may be weaknesses. There was never any danger to the bridge. The bridge was always solid and could be used by basically any vehicle. But they thought that it needed shoring up in a couple of places, and that's the work that's going on at the moment. If you go through Fenelon, you'll see that there is construction work underneath the bridge. When that is completed, and probably when the weather gets a little warmer, I would say in the late April, May timeframe, you will see that they start the paving, and it's envisioned that that will take about 8 to 10 days. There will be a pedestrian access at all times on the bridge. It may be shut down for half an hour or an hour or something while they're moving equipment or doing something. But basically, the bridge will be open and there will be a pedestrian access. One of the considerations is moving the pedestrian walkway from the west side of the bridge to the east side of the bridge as part of this construction. And the reason for doing that is to eliminate the necessity to cross from what was the UP station to RWH. You would be on the other side of the street, so it would negate having to do that, and people could walk directly to Sobeys and the other stores and businesses that are on that other side of the bridge. So that would be a change, and I believe that that has been accepted and will go forward. A couple of other things. One of the things that was mentioned was snow removal and sidewalk plowing. And we seem to get snow every day up here, and I have not been happy with the snow clearing, particularly on the sidewalks. The street snow clearing has been quite good. I also haven't been happy that they haven't taken away the windrows on a regular basis. They've done it once in the downtown, and I thought it would be done more often, and the snowbanks are quite high. Now, the challenge that the city has had is that both sidewalk plows are currently in for maintenance, and so it is, they're using some old equipment that doesn't do a very good job. I've been talking to Public Works and asking them when they could get to the sidewalks and clear them as quickly as possible. And I don't have an answer to that yet. But it is a work in progress. And as I say, I am not particularly happy with the sidewalk plowing that has taken place. I don't know, I haven't heard complaints from Bobcaygeon or from any of the other towns or villages, so I'm assuming that sidewalk plowing is going forward properly, and that there are no outstanding issues with it. But if there are, I would encourage everybody to bring them to the attention of Public Works. One of my big complaints is particularly at street corners where the sidewalk plows don't seem to understand that people have to cross a street. And if you have a walker or a scooter or anything else, you can't get through a 2 or 3 foot high windrow, and you have to go out on the road to get around. And I think it creates a dangerous situation. Again, that is something that I'm working with Public Works on. The budget was passed last week and given the official okie dokie at council yesterday. And in that is some special funding for pandemic relief. And so if we know of any groups that are struggling because they couldn't do their fundraising or they couldn't do whatever they normally do and are in jeopardy, there is pandemic relief funding for both committees and for businesses. And people can go on the city website and find that information. And I think they can go into Jump In Kawartha and find it as well. So if you know of anybody who's in that position, you may point them in that direction. One of the things that came out of council yesterday that will be of interest to the folks in Lindsay, I think, is trying to make Logie Street safer and more accessible and better for people going to the brand new park that was built down on Logie Street. And that is that council has agreed to put in I refer to them as paved shoulders, but apparently they're going to be bike lanes and they're going to be marked as bike lanes. And I'm hopeful that will help out some folks who may have accessibility issues as well. So it is a good move on the part of the municipality to start somewhere and having designated bike lanes. So I think that's a good thing that has been done. They will be closed in the winter time, of course, just because of snow plowing and other things, but probably available about 9 months of the year. The other thing I wanted to talk about, if anyone is interested, is I put on my health unit hat here and talk about vaccinations for a little bit. We were in hiatus on giving vaccines because we didn't have any vaccines to give. We had, I think initially we had 1,700, maybe another shipment of 1,000, which allowed us to do the long-term care homes, the first round of vaccines for long-term care homes. And that would be for both the residents and the workers in the long-term care home. We have now received more vaccines and we will be able to complete the second round of those vaccines. And we know that more are coming and they will start to be rolled out. And I believe if you go on the health unit website, you will see how they plan to roll out the vaccines, which is the next level will be frontline workers, people with susceptibilities, particularly those with any breathing problems or respiratory problems, some indigenous people, and then it will move to the older population. Many of our older population will already have been vaccinated because they're in long-term care homes. So they won't be vaccinated twice, but it will free up the vaccines to get out into the general population faster. And I think they're hoping to get to older, I will say 80 plus, people 80 years old plus, and all the people I mentioned. I think they're hoping to have that done by the end of March. So that the challenge right now is because we have two kinds of vaccines, and the Pfizer vaccine needs to be stored at -70 degrees. And there are only the Ross Memorial Hospital and a hospital in Northumberland that have that capability. But presently that capability will be available in Haliburton. So the Pfizer vaccines will be shared up there as well. The other vaccine needs to be stored at -20, and not all pharmacies, because we would like the vaccines to be rolled out the same way that it is done for the flu vaccines. But because of the special requirements until the other vaccines, the AstraZeneca, the Johnson & Johnson, and whatever else comes along, that don't need to be stored at those low temperatures, then they will start to roll them out as they can, hoping to use the same system that we use for the flu vaccine, which seems to work reasonably well. Again, I will point you to the health unit website, which has a lot of information on vaccines. And Dr. Gemmell, who is the acting medical officer of health, does an update once a week, usually on Tuesdays, where he goes over the numbers and he talks about the initiatives and how things are going with the pandemic in general. If you contact the health unit or you go on the website, it will tell you how you can listen in on that news conference. So I think that's, if people have questions, I'm happy to try and answer them. And if I don't have the answers, I'll try and find out the answers. And then I'll come back to talking about whether we would like to continue with Zoom meetings or meet in person.
Okay, was there any questions? Andre?
Counselor, when you were able to, when you were discussing the new roads that are going to be, I believe it was in Fenland Falls.
Yes.
Would it be a possibility that we can have the plans shared with the public awareness, public spaces group? Who might be able to give you...
I'm certain that's possible. Barb, could you talk to Corby Purdy and ask him if he would do that, please?
I certainly will.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No, it doesn't look like it. So before we go ahead to talking about our next meeting, if there's no other questions, could we please get a motion to accept the updates from our working group, staff, and council? Andre, and a seconder. Was that Ken? I think I saw Ken's hand up. Okay, and all in favor? Perfect. So we'll go on. We didn't add anything under new or other business. So our next meeting would be March 24th. And do we want to have a discussion? I think at this time we do need to remain Zoom, but what do people feel going forward? We can open that up to discussion.
I think just because of all the special needs and also all the maybe underlying conditions, I think we should stick with the Zoom meetings for right now.
I think so. Barb, do you know if all our members have been able to attend by Zoom or if there have been any issues accessing the meetings?
Oops. I'm not aware that there is any issue at all with attending Zoom meetings. If someone does have an issue, please let me know. Like, I haven't been made aware of it, Crystal.
And I
thought Norm had a problem from Omimi that he couldn't always, he had either a weak signal or he couldn't always get on. If I recall correctly.
I think you might be right. I will have to ask Norm, okay, if he is still having issues.
But he was at our last public spaces meeting when we had it. He made it to it, so.
Yeah, like, and everything seemed to be fine then, so I'll confirm with him. But anyway, I'll leave the discussion up to the group.
Yeah, I'd love to meet in person because I think it's easier for, especially our group with Andre, to kind of go back and forth over a table. But unfortunately, right now, it just doesn't seem possible.
I would agree. Just to add to that, I just wanted to double check that there weren't access issues because I know technology can be an issue for some people. I would like to continue online at this time, I think, for everybody's safety. And I think a few of us have constraints of our workplaces too. I know I'm on this committee as a volunteer, but because I'm doing it during working hours, I wouldn't be able to physically attend a face-to-face meeting either. Was there any other discussion or comments? It sounds like we're all in agreement that Zoom is the way to go for now. Lots of head nods.
I think that we can address it too, like as time goes by, once the vaccine has been provided to all of the individuals, we might reassess the situation and maybe our decision would be different. But right now, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm just looking here So that was, oh, Andre.
Just sorry if I could, from Councillor Ainsley, was that a recommendation from the health unit that all all meetings from anywhere in Kawartha Lakes, an area, should be staying at a virtual?
No, it wasn't a recommendation. It was the health unit felt that it should set an example for the community by meeting virtually until it was safe to meet in person. And they chose to say once the vast majority of people had vaccines and perhaps COVID was in our rearview mirror, would be the time to meet virtually. But I thought that with the committees I'm on and meet with, I bring it up as something just to ask the committee of how they feel about it, and if they feel that it is a better way to meet, and in some cases on smaller committees where you only have 4, 5, or 6 people, I envision they will meet by Zoom almost exclusively going forward, because it's far easier than finding a room and everybody traveling and getting together, that you sit in the comfort of your own home or your own space or office, and you don't have to dislocate yourself from there. So I just brought it up as something I thought this committee might like to speak about.
Thank you, Councillor. I think it's a great idea, and I think obviously as a municipality, you guys and we should also convene the way that we have to emulate our responsibilities to others and see that this is the way that we should do things. Thank you so much.
I will comment that council is meeting in person, and we're taking great care to not only wear masks when we're up and out of our seats, but we're also ensuring that we are 6 feet or more apart in that council chamber. So.
Okay. So I think we're settled on that, and I agree with all the comments. It does make sense to set a good example and also to protect ourselves and the vulnerable people we know and work with. So we'll continue that way for the time being anyways. We'll see when we come out of this what the world is like. I think we're going to be entering a different world with home and business and how things work like that. So we've got to the end of our agenda. Again, the next meeting will be on Wednesday, March 24th. So all we have left is a call to adjourn. So can we get a motion to adjourn? Andre is ready. Councillor Emsley, thank you. So yes, it was nice to see everybody, and we look forward to seeing you again in the working groups and at our meeting next month. Take care and be well, everybody.
Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you.
Likewise, have a great day.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks. Everybody have a good day.